This is Gail Morgan welcoming you to the Libertarian Counterpoint's Knuckleheads of Liberty podcast. You've heard their point, now listen to the counterpoint.
Welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty. We are coming at you on December 15th, 2021. Getting near the end of the year, near Christmas, and boy, the mismanagement of Biden and these other guys are making those stockings kind of light this year for the chimney. But before we get into any of this stuff that's going on, let me introduce you to our panel. In our upper left-hand corner, we have Leon the Word Brathwaite, last word in Liberty. He is a retired engineer in the state of California. In our upper right-hand corner, we have our screaming eagle of freedom, Tim Everett. He is a pilot in the state of California. And my name is Jason McPhee, and I'll be your host today. So let's get right into it. You know, there's one piece of news that just came up today, and I just wanted to touch on that. We hadn't really planned for it, but it's about the schools here in California. So they'd been on a mandate for kids to get vaccinated, and kids the least risk. I guess that group having the least risk of all groups, is young yes. kids. And apparently they've already hit these deadlines where they said, hey, you better be vaccinated or else. And then they realized they've got tens of thousands of kids who, aren't vaccinated or haven't figured out how to do the paperwork or whatever, to meet these deadlines. So Los Angeles County School Board recently just announced that they're going to push this off till next academic school year. So that's, well off into the summer. So that's, probably good news if you're a parent and you had any doubts for your kids, that at least you have the flexibility now of choosing for yourself for a little while longer, how these things are going to go. I think it's in LA County, they're claiming that it's 87% are vaccinated, which I find hard to believe because here in California, I've been looking at Sacramento City Unified, and they are less than 50% vaccinated. So this is, and I think what they're looking at is literally if these kick in, then literally half the school is going to disappear, and they're going to have to figure out how to educate all these kids on a distance in short notice. So
on Zoom, yes.
Yeah. So central planning again, to the rescue, I guess. I don't know. Do you guys have a quick comment before we jump into the other topics for the?
I don't know why the LA kids even want to go to school when you could just rob a Nordstrom for jewelry and turn around and sell it on, on the internet and make a good living that way and not get in trouble. And smash it and grab it and off you go.
Yeah.
That's just
my typical smart ass remark. That's all it is.
Yeah, we can tell. We can tell. Well, I would hope that this is a small sign or small step in the right direction in terms of some level of sanity returning to the schools over this their COVID policy. I don't hold my breath on that one, but I'm still hopeful that some sanity is returning. And if it's pushed back to the next school year, hopefully by then the COVID will be all going away and they wouldn't even have to go back to the policy at all. So let's just hope, keep our fingers crossed and pray that some level of sanity is returning.
Well, I tell you, if you're a kid growing up in 2020, 2021, if you haven't learned to be skeptical of your elders, man, I don't know what it's going to take. Well, anyway, let's jump into the big stories of the day. So if we can get the slide up. Apparently the Supreme Court just made a sort of a semi-decision on this Texas abortion ban. They've said that, this thing, I guess, is going to take a little bit of time to figure out. It's a fairly complicated law, what's going on there. It's a 6-week, essentially, is the new viability, I guess, on abortions by the Texas law. And so essentially it's a fetal heartbeat. And so once they've detected that, they're saying it's illegal. However, the enforcement mechanism is not the traditional mechanism where they throw you in jail or whatever. Instead, it allows you to be sued by anybody who wants to sue you that can show that you violated the law. And so that's creating a lot of, consternation about how this fits in with, normal jurisprudence. And so they've decided that while this thing is still being challenged, that they're not going to put a stay on it, though. And so this is going into effect in Texas while the Supreme Court sort of, muddles through this for, I don't know, about a half a year or something. So you guys have any thoughts on this whole Texas thing?
Well, I think life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness should apply to all, including the unborn. I don't even know why this is controversial, why abortion is a controversial issue, quite frankly, because you're killing something that's alive. It may not be fully human, but you're killing something. Now, the enforcement mechanism, though, here may be problematic, because I am not sure that I'm truly comfortable with it, because they are allowing, the way it's being enforced, they are allowing private citizens, almost anyone, to sue an abortion provider. Now, if you start going down that slippery slope, you can see where other people can do the same thing. For instance, we already know Gavin Newsom said that they're going to look at probably having private citizens sue gun manufacturers. So what is probably going to happen is that these gun
manufacturers... You're getting way ahead of us, Leon. That was another topic for later.
Well, I guess only
natural. All right, I will leave it at this, okay? It might be problematic, the enforcement mechanism of the law. I think the law is a good law, as far as I'm concerned, because I think the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of the unborn should be protected. But I'll leave it that I think the enforcement mechanism may be problematic.
Yeah, and I don't really want to talk about the whole law, except for the punitive aspect of it, because that's the part that I have a major problem with that whole thing, and that we're going to discuss in the future here. So I'm not going to say anything else.
Since Jason is being so punitive against us about jumping ahead of us, okay.
Well, we got to stick with the order of the slides.
That's okay. We're patient. We're patient people.
Yeah. Don't worry. We will get to it. Clearly, we're wetting your tongues here or whatever with the foreshadowing that this is creating big issues in other areas. But before we get to that, this is, California, as usual, is jumping into the mix in just some kind of crazy, out of left field type of a way. Essentially, now I guess Newsom and some of the other legislators here, they want to make California an abortion sanctuary if this thing sticks. So they are looking into passing legislation to, not just allow people to come here and get an abortion, because I guess they could already do that. It's the United States. If they want to come here and it's legal here, they'll do it. But they want to actually make it easy for people to come here. So they want to help pay for people to come here and get an abortion who aren't citizens here. So I just can't even imagine, what.
Yeah. So they want, they want Leon to pay for the little 14-year-old girl from Texas, I guess, to come to California to get her abortion and pay not only the travel expenses, the expense of the abortion, and the hotel. And I imagine she'd go to some place like San Diego for the abortion, or LA, or someplace where she could go to Disneyland at the same time on the taxpayers' dime. Get the abortion, go to Disneyland. They'll probably pay for Disneyland too, and Leon will pay for that, and Tim and Jason. So what's wrong with that picture? Well, probably for a lot of Californians, absolutely nothing. They love paying for other people to do the things that they should be paying for themselves. So I don't see why that would not fly in California.
But the thing about these sanctuary cities, and we have had this concept of sanctuary cities around for a long time. It the first set of thing involved illegal immigrants, and that was just encouraging law breaking. And now, apparently, Newsom's idea or whoever's idea now is that they will make California a sanctuary state, so people could come here and get abortions and say, "Damn well, please," and we're gonna pay for it. So, what about the people who have moral objections to abortion? Now, this is not based on religion or spiritual. It's just morally objectionable that a life is going to be taken in those abortions. So, should we be paying for that when we find it morally objectionable? Should we? I find even the concept of that morally objectionable. Forget about the fact what they're going to do with my money and your money, but I find it objectionable that we are going to be forced by Newsom or whoever, or forced by law to pay for things that are we find objectionable. And this is seriously problematic. And I'm sure there's some constitutional issue here involved. But if this ever becomes law where we have been forced to pay these sort of things, sure, I think we will end up at the Supreme Court arguing about it. And I think the Supreme Court will rule in our favor because this is crazy.
Yeah. Well, that is one aspect to all of this. I mean, I certainly can see, the debate between, whether or not the woman should have the ultimate property right going on here with her body, or if you have to give the ultimate decision to the child. I can certainly see the debate there, but I can't see any of the debate on whether a person should have to pay for somebody else to get an abortion. That just seems to be from a libertarian's perspective, I can't imagine a libertarian who would be okay with that aspect of using somebody else's money to pay for a decision like an abortion. So,
but I don't want us to get too much in the weeds of abortion itself because I know you guys tried to talk about it last week or the week that I was not here, which I was just licking my chops to be present when you guys started that discussion, but I was not here obviously.
Maybe you ought to just belt it out, Leon. What the heck? Don't hold back. We don't want you frustrated.
Yeah. But the thing is here though that I just want to add to this debate. It is not settled that this is a woman having some sovereignty over her body. That is not a settled issue, okay? Because we are also talking about the sovereignty of someone else's body also in this debate. So it's not settled that we could just be a given where a woman should have sovereignty over her body, thus abortion should be legal. No, it's not settled that she has that right over someone else's body.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think you can have an honest debate here, but once you start saying that, you gotta bring people in from all over the country and pay for their vacation.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It might just be that Newsom's seen all these people leaving California, and he's dreaming up ways to bring people back to California.
Yeah, and finding people to pay for the for his whole plan there.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, this does bring up another issue, and we sort of foreshadowed that before, that this novel concept of allowing people to sue as an enforcement mechanism instead of a criminal enforcement element of the state kicking in, that I guess bypasses judicial review. This is now being picked up by Newsom and other people on the left as something to do for things that they have trouble with in the courts, and namely gun rights. So if we could, let's see if I can. I can advance the slide here. Okay, so one of the first things they're going to jump on is the issue of gun rights in California. So Newsom's trying to dream up ways right now to essentially take the Texas abortion law and apply it to guns, assault weapons in California. So things that might not pass judicial muster were he to have some kind of an enforcement where a policing mechanism here in California. But if it turns into a civil thing, somehow that bypasses the courts, and so that's what he's trying to apply now to guns. So I clearly that could be some major issues, and not just for guns, maybe free speech as well. You guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, if I may just jump in, I think the Supreme Court needs to put the kibosh on this thing right away. And, if not the basic law, then at least the methodology for enforcing the law. If they have to strike the whole law down to do it, then they need to do that. And they need to do it right away and not hem and haw about, this, that, or the other thing. I mean, this is just so totally against the it's typical of government, though. Hey, you know what, let's just let the citizens pay for everything, including lawsuits, and we don't want to, oh gosh, you got an abortion when you were the baby was too far along, so instead of punishing people with jail time or fines or any of that kind of nonsense, that we have to enforce ourselves, we'll just let the individual citizens duke it out in court. Yeah, that's great. Boy, I wonder, did the attorneys have any say in that little gem of a law? I wonder. The attorneys that are making buku bucks on all these lawsuits that are potentially about to happen. And then this whole idea of, doing this end around, where, I guess Newsom's just, he's so mad at Texas because they're usurping people's constitutional rights, or I guess to have an abortion. Not that it was in the 10 amendments, the original Bill of Rights or anything like the Second Amendment was, but I guess not content to put tyranny against one group of citizens, he wants to add to the tyranny, which is also a different way of looking at this. The guy just doesn't give a crap. He just wants more tyranny. That's all. It's just his brand of tyranny. It's not, Texas is the other brand, and now his brand is going to be this way. This is problematic. This is potentially harmful to gun owners, and the article that we all read, I'm assuming, went into all kinds of different avenues where this could seep into the judicial system, and in a private way and just civilly, Oh my God! So hey, you want to be an attorney? Yes, it's a growing business. You should definitely get involved. Young people, when you're not smashing and grabbing, you may want to become an attorney.
Well, I see the law as problematic for a slightly different reason, even though I think Tim did kind of touch on it. Okay, the point is though, the American legal jurisprudence have always been that in civil matters where there are civil lawsuits are going to be filed, in civil matters, only the person who is being directly harmed by somebody else's actions can sue. Somebody else's actions or conduct can sue. This law and the laws that are the one that like Newsom is contemplating, these things are so broad that they are allowing almost anyone to sue. So for instance, if you have, like in Texas, you have some abortion provider, then any citizen who would fall within the criteria of the law can sue. But which is different from the American jurisprudence, the history of the American jurisprudence, where people who are directly harmed by the conduct, they can sue. So for instance, like if for instance a woman went and had an abortion and maybe the father of the child who was not part of the decision, he could probably claim, well, I was harmed by that conduct, so probably I can sue someone, the abortion provider or somebody like that. But this thing is so broad, it's seriously problematic. And that, just like Tim was saying, not only it will apply in this area of the law, there'll be other areas like in gun manufacturers, there are speech issues, Jason, that you raised, where you can have anyone suing, even though they were not directly harmed by the conduct, of the person involved. So this is where I have this real problem with this law, the enforcement mechanism of this law.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Yeah, it's quite a Pandora's box that Texas has opened up with this.
Yes.
But as Newsom has gotten you guys so triggered at the moment, maybe it's a good time for good guys with guns, Tim.
Okay, well, sure. Yeah, I mean, let's pull it out. This is from August, and this one, Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City police said an armed suspect was shot to death in an attempted robbery Monday in Bricktown. Armed suspect. Wow. According to police, this occurred on Reno. Okay, next to the U-Haul moving and storage facility. Some guy probably getting his crap out or whatever. Police said the suspect approached two people, pulled out a gun, and demanded their property. According to the report, one of the victims then pulled out his own weapon under the draw, by the way, and shot the alleged robber. Officers quickly arrived on scene and began CPR on the suspect. The suspect died at the scene. Maybe it was the CPR. Authorities said the victims are cooperating with police, and investigators have not yet given an age or identified the poor suspect who has taken the room temperature challenge.
Okay. Okay.
That's what you get when you try to gun down somebody that's quick on the draw.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
Well, and for you guys who are viewers out there, part of the reason we're sharing these stories is because we always hear the terrible stories of somebody when they happen to use a gun to do something bad in society, but we rarely hear the stories of somebody who actually thwarts a crime with a gun. So that's part of the reason why we're sharing these, just to balance the scales a little bit. We
are equal time.
Yeah, and Jason, that's a good point. Okay, I mean, and even if we limit this discussion to the police, we always hear about the time that the police end up shooting someone, and it was such a horrible thing. Usually, it's a white police officer shooting a black man. It's always such a horrible thing. We never hear about so many times that the police have actually saved lives with those same guns. We never hear about that. Almost never. Okay, and this is something I think we should try to highlight a little more, because I think we shouldn't be demonizing the police in the first case. There are some bad apples. We should root them out as we can. But we definitely should highlight some of these things where the police are using the weapons that they have, the guns, to save lives, which they do every day in America.
Well, it's about time in our show to get to our Knucklehead Noise Patrol. And this time, it's actually not something that's I guess a really dumb thing that somebody said. In this case, it's just such an outlandish thing what we're hearing, but it's a reflection of reality. If I can get the visual up on that. So in this particular case, an LA police union leader is warning for tourists, and essentially it's Jamie McBride, head of the LA Police Protective League, told CBS Los Angeles in a interview just a few days ago. He said, "We can't guarantee your safety. It is really out of control. I said it to people before. It's like the movie The Purge, Instead of 24 hours to commit your crime, these people have 365 days to commit whatever they want." And so essentially he's telling people, don't come to LA. And I just, I can't even imagine, that we're living in these times when, defund the police and, these blue leaders, these Democrat leaders are just have reimagined government to the point where the cities are just falling apart and yes. Crime is running rampant. And I guess the murders are going up, and they're just saying, hey, they can't protect anybody. So, maybe it's telling everybody you better strap up, I guess. You're going to come to California. Yeah. Anyways. You guys have thoughts on that?
Well, from San Diego, I know I've been going first a lot. Sorry, Leon, but from San Diego, some of us San Diegans are pompous, and we avoid LA like the plague and always have. So, I mean, it's nothing new for us to avoid LA, at least if we can. But sometimes you got to go through it, and it's just I can't wait to get out. But the other thing this guy said on his interview was that these, not that it's okay to do this, but this whole law about giving them a certain amount of money that they can steal and they won't be prosecuted for it. Not that it's okay to go into the grocery store and steal bread and milk and eggs and stuff, to keep the family going. No, they're not doing that. They're going into expensive jewelry stores and stealing Rolexes and expensive jewelry to sell on the black market, and or any way they can. And this is the result of this idiotic lunatic, whoever thought this up was an imbecile law, and this is our, what we reap, what we sow, and here we are reaping it.
Indeed. So Jason, I wasn't sure. I was looking at this thing. I wasn't sure who did you intend as a knucklehead in this particular instance.
Well, Generally with the knucklehead
noise, people that came up with the idea for the law.
Yeah. In this case, like I said, sometimes somebody says something in the midst of the insanity that is just so over the top, even though it's just somebody trying to make sense of the insanity. And in this case, I think that's what's going on. But it's funny, London Breed, the mayor of New York, recently
San Francisco.
Excuse me, San Francisco. Sorry about that. Yeah, jumped coasts there. But anyways, she actually finally came out because crime has been getting so crazy in her city. These gangs of smash and grabs just going in, and so she was literally coming out and saying, "We're not going to tolerate this anymore." So apparently, she's found religion on I guess funding the police and law enforcement now, I guess. But it's funny because just a few months ago, she was saying about the Walgreens all leaving in San Francisco.
Yes.
This wasn't, probably just a corporate decision on their part, that has nothing to do with crime. And now clearly she's changed her tune at this point. You guys have any other thoughts?
Yeah, but this situation, though, really and truly, I think Tim is right. Though this situation comes out of the lunacy. I guess those are the knuckleheads in this thing, the lunacy of defunding the police and this so-called bail reform that we have, where people are violent criminals and they're getting out on zero bail. All these sort of things that is what causing this crime spike. And I mean, and now we have these Johnny-come-latelys trying to say, well, we should probably refund the police. Some people are now talking about that. Now, after we have people who have suffered through all of this, now they have figured out, maybe we made a mistake. But they never admit they made a mistake in the first case. But now they want to talk about, let's get some money back to the police. Let's get some more police back on the street, and before the insanity go any further than it's already gone.
Well, I think the writing is on the wall as they look toward 2022 elections, and they just understand that things do not look good for them at this point. So some of them are starting to react and change their tunes. But the writing's on the wall for us. We're out of time. But thank you for joining us this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next one. Until then, stay free.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness